The commentary community has a problem and I need to talk about it. This isn't going to be another one of those fuck the commentary community, they're all trash videos. That's already been done several times before. Instead, I'm taking a different approach. Think of this as an outsider's perspective on why the commentary community is slowly dying. Instead of a commentator outlining his issues with the commentary community, it's a ranter outlining his issues with the commentary community. This is going to be so much fun. Let's get started. Every community on YouTube is guilty of bandwagoning, but the CC is particularly bad in this regard, as they have a tendency of taking certain people and topics and running them into the ground. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the days of Joshua8428, Sailor Moon Red 1, Mario to Plumber, and Ben the Looney. Remember how annoying those bandwagons were? Well, I'm sorry to report that this tactic has only gotten worse over time. For those of you who don't know, the CC likes to bandwagon hop from one trending target to the other. The current metaphorical punching bags of the CC are Phantom Strider, Mr. Enter, Veilskabum94, and Game Theory. In the last few months there have been so many videos on these four individuals that I've started to believe that the plot to the Beyonce movie Obsessed is real. My problem isn't with the videos themselves being made. Nobody should be exempt from criticism. My problem stems from the lack of originality in these videos, as they repeat the same points over and over again. Seriously, go and watch any video made on these four individuals and they will use these talking points to a T. I know you require more evidence than boring blank slides, so here you go.
Take, for example, people like Veilskabum94, who puts out daily videos, and some days he even double uploads. This guy literally shits out content on a daily basis, making pointless videos like The Loud House's Surprising Victory, and Modern SpongeBob's Dark Scene, and Nickelodeon is winning the battle of the networks. Now to me, it really seems like this guy is just grasping for topics to make videos about and stretching those topics out for as long as possible. Additionally, there are people like Stuff with Scoutfly and Phantom Strider, whose content is the watch mojo of the cartoon community.
However, one thing that really hurts his channel is the type of content. Phantom Strider's channel consists of top 6 and 10 lists, and all of them are either overdone or based on popular opinions. I mean, I'm not going to say he presents his arguments poorly, because he doesn't, but geez, Strider, don't you have something else to offer other than Family Guy sucks, Steven Universe is like literally the best show ever, and Teen Titans Go sucks?
This is a man whose entire channel is based upon the idea of quantity over quality. He clearly doesn't care about making a video that's actually good.
Veil freaking Ski Bum. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about his content because there's another video by Avis Reviews which explains exactly why Veil's a terrible YouTuber, and I recommend you watch that video instead. But just to give you an idea, I dislike Veil's content because he uploads daily, and since he's a single independent content creator, most of his videos feel very uninspired and he sacrifices a lot of labor time in editing, script, if he even writes a script, and video length. None of his ideas or opinions feel original in the slightest, and the guy repeats a lot of his subjects. Whenever he reviews an animated atrocity, he only talks about the negative aspects, and just to make matters worse, he recaps the entire episodes and points out every single little flaw that he can find. Like, it makes him look like an unsatisfied snob, and I know that's not what he really is, but that's the impression he gives.
I usually put a disclaimer myself on videos like this that can get kind of disturbing, but the video itself has one. Hey, I put landmines everywhere, but it's okay because I'm telling you that I put landmines everywhere.
So you'd rather they not put a fucking viewer discretion as advice stamp at the beginning of this video? I mean, you just said it yourself that you would normally do this, so why is them doing this a place of complaint? Honestly, Enter, there's a lot of things you are in your reviews, but inconsistent is not normally one of them. Why did this have to be one of those exceptions?
By the way, bloodshed is one word.
Yeah, and you only need one thing of text on your screen that doesn't overlap. I can nitpick too. What's your point? So for those of you who have been under a rock for the past maybe 3 years now, today we're covering a channel called The Game Theorists. Mostly they do really half-assed theories that are very well researched, pull out of the ass, and well, normally I don't care.
You know, the one where the Mega Man's true villain theory, in which he tried to argue that Dr. Wily is not the villain of Mega Man. You know, despite the fact that the villain of Mega Man is Dr. Wily, you're basically arguing against basic fact, trying to deny that. I can forgive the fact that he's not funny. I can forgive all of that if he wasn't so if he wasn't such a freaking bitch when it comes to taking criticism. If Matt Pat can actually take any criticism, right? Because you have this video right here, which is the WD Gaster theory, and in the beginning of the theory, in the beginning of the video, he basically whines about people criticizing his videos.
These videos to me feel very cynically made, not in the sense that they're bad, but in the sense that it feels like the people that are making them are only doing it because it's popular and gets a lot of views. How many times do we have to hear that Mr. Enter nitpicks and can't take criticism? And if I hear one more person say that Phantom Strider is the watch mojo of the cartoon community, my head is going to explode. These individuals are not going to change the way they make videos or how they approach content production. So what's the point? There are so many other things to talk about that are awesome. Why is the CC still wasting their time on these overdone bandwagons? As much as I've highlighted the entire community for bandwagon hopping, there's one channel in particular that employs this tactic to an annoying degree: Megadupe TV. Megadupe TV is a ranter. No wait, he's a commentator. No wait, he's a trans ranter / commentator. It doesn't matter who he is. He talks about things that annoy him. Pretty simple concept. He primarily made commentaries in the typical slideshow cutaway format, and then he retired. He would later return a few months later, where the direction of his channel took a major shift. Since he returned, his channel has become almost exclusively focused on ranting about animation reviewers and other YouTubers. I'm not saying his videos and channel are bad, these are just observations I've been noticing. He made 2 videos on game theory when that bandwagon was popular. He has made videos on Enter, Strider, Veil, stuff with Scoutfly and Kolobi Productions, because those bandwagons are hotter than Harvey Weinstein's insatiable appetite for women. To be fair, he has made videos on subjects other than animation reviewers and popular YouTubers, such as militant vegans, high school fights, and the commentary community. But make no mistake, the topics I just mentioned have become this channel's life insurance policy. In my opinion, this has caused the channel to become stale, predictable, and boring. While the videos aren't bad, and I can certainly understand where he's coming from, he's become quite tiresome to listen to, because there's only so many times you can say how awful an animation reviewer or popular YouTuber is before it becomes old. It certainly doesn't help that the arguments have become stale and formulaic. For example, stating that Mr. Enter can't take criticism, his moronic fanbase, and the fact that he talks about Teen Titans Go too much. These criticisms used to hold a lot of weight because they were true, but now they don't have the same zing or punch because it's been overused and milked to death. And when you have to resort to using the same talking points over and over again, it's a telltale sign the formula has become stale. His new show, The Reviewer, suffers from this same problem as well, as the first 2 episodes are about animation reviewers. The first one was about Baseball Sam 1, while the second will be on Veil, which at the time of writing this has not yet been published. And here I thought Joey Sparkle BS had a problem when it came to content diversification. But hey, what the hell do I know? His channel has had a massive subscriber boost in the last year or so, as he has over 1,000 subscribers and counting. So this bandwagon hopping clearly works. After all, if it didn't, people wouldn't be doing it. So no matter how you feel about bandwagons, you can't deny their effectiveness. He's probably gonna write a long response in the comment section telling me how wrong I am, and I welcome it. I've honestly just been sitting here for the last month or so waiting for you to write me back.
When you can hear the person on the other end who's saying these things directly to you and they're saying them directly to you, that's a whole other level of harassment, really.
Everybody knows that when the whole Menaker drama went down, some of his fans told Doodle Tones to kill herself. Now, that's wrong and morally reprehensible on every conceivable level, but what if I were to tell you that Doodle herself told somebody to kill themselves? Now, I know what you're thinking, Zion, that's a pretty serious accusation to make. Do you have any evidence? Come on, guys, you should know me by now. I got the receipts. This isn't something a rational person would do, it's something a slimy asshole would do, period. It's old drama and it doesn't matter anymore, you say. Well, that's very much true, it is over a year old at this point, but that doesn't negate the fact that it's completely scummy. I understand that getting told to kill yourself was awful, but just because a group of people did something shitty to you, doesn't give you the right to do that same shitty thing to someone else. But she was angry and in the heat of the moment, and she didn't tell Todd to kill himself, she just told him to die. First of all, that's not a good excuse to justify telling somebody to end their life, and second of all, there's no difference between telling somebody to kill themselves and telling them to die. They literally mean the same thing. You want to know what's even more fucked up about this? Some people in the CC were actually defending her. Case in point, the YouTube Dude 101, who labeled some guy on Twitter who mentioned this incident as being malicious. So let me get this straight. This guy is malicious for bringing up the fact that Doodle told Todd to kill himself, but she isn't malicious for saying it in the first place. That is truly remarkable. She's basically getting a free pass because of who she is and her stature within the community. Unbelievable. The point I'm trying to make here is that if somebody on the incredibly long list of people the CC doesn't like did the same thing, they would be making a big stink about it. They'd be making their little videos and lambasting the person in question for being awful. But when one of their own does it, it's totally fine. To say that the CC has warped moral standards is like saying having a drink with Bill Cosby is a good idea. You can't get on a moral high ground and say that telling others to kill themselves is wrong, and then go and do that exact same thing yourself. If we're going to virtue signal and make a statement like that, please do us all a favor and practice what you preach. It's not that hard.
I'm not gonna assume for certain.
This is complete bullshit, and I should know because she did it to me. This was a pleasant surprise. I'll admit I was a bit on edge after seeing you were subbed to Menaker. I don't particularly agree with your stance on the blocking and disabling comments, there's a reason those features are there, but at this point I've kind of just accepted to agree to disagree. Take note of that first sentence. She was on edge because I'm subscribed to Mr. Menaker. To make a long story short, she basically assumed that I was some kind of sarcastic, malicious, troublemaking shitlord simply because I happened to like Jim's content enough to subscribe to his channel. I don't know if it was because she's paranoid or completely lazy when it comes to doing any sort of research, but I can assure you that I'm not like that at all. Anyone that has watched my videos for longer than 10 seconds knows this assumption about me is complete BS. I would never encourage or support the witch hunt of people who are into things I don't particularly agree with. So to assume I'm this evil, horrible person simply because I'm subscribed to a channel you don't like is ridiculous and irrational. It's about as irrational as getting mad at people who make jokes about your alleged diaper fetish. You say you don't assume certain things about people, yet you assume certain things about people. Not only is that hypocritical, but it's flat out dishonest. When Kiwi Farms and other internet denizens assume you're a cringy autistic spurg, that's not okay and it needs to be called out. But assume a channel whose existence you were aware of supports witch hunts because he likes the big bad Menaker, that's a-okay. The whole stigma of commentators criticizing others but not being able to take criticism themselves is very much true. Mr. Menaker has been a thorn in the side of the CC for over a year now, so much so that when he announced he was considering making a series on the CC as a whole, several commentators started privating their videos. I really don't understand why you would want to do that. I mean, after all, when you base your entire career on criticizing other people, you should be able to take it back, so there should be no reason to private your videos. Not unless you were afraid of getting roasted and criticized yourself. This just really goes to show how cowardly some people in the CC are. They constantly criticize others, but when someone does it to them, they run away like a chicken with a tail behind its legs. To further emphasize this point, these planned series of videos haven't come to fruition yet, and we don't know whether or not Menaker actually plans to move forward with it. But just the mere mention of videos being made against the CC has gotten everyone in a tizzy. Guys, there's nothing to be afraid of, it's just criticism. Speaking of criticism, Doodle Tones is the absolute worst when it comes to dealing with criticism. I know it seems like I'm just picking on her, but if you know anything about her history, then you know that she doesn't deal with criticism very well.
Yeah, I don't give her credit. Yeah, I don't think Doodle would be like the type to do that. The only situation I've seen Doodle do that was with Skihound, and the only reason she did do that was because Skihound leaked her stuff and she got paranoid.
Actually, let me stop you right there. She was paranoid before she knew about that.
Well,
okay. I blame I blame Chambers for that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, as far as I remember, like, with that whole situation, that like Ski didn't say anything to Doodle about that.
But
It was
here's
Chambers
the
that
thing.
told Doodle about that.
Doodle was a part of Bop. Doodle probably seen Bop's commentaries. Doodle should have known that Chambers is no one to take seriously.
Like, in terms of like Jewel defending herself against the Jarvis, it's like, can we just agree that both of them were in the wrong for continuing the drama when it was long since like dead?
I would love to say that it was both of their faults, but Doodle did 2 more videos before Jar even hopped back in. After they agreed to stop.
I think the problem with both sides were like they didn't really they weren't able to just have a conversation together and just talk things out.
But they did, and they agreed to end it, and then Doodle did 2 more responses involving the Jar situation. Doodle broke the agreement.
To be fair, like, wasn't Doodle just tackling the drama surrounding it, not...
Yeah, but that's still covering it. Doodle broke the agreement.
And Doodle did wind up defending her own video in the process.
It was just to defend her own video.
Yeah.
I would argue that it wasn't... I would argue that it wasn't just to defend her own video, but the fact that she ended up defending her own video in the process does show...
If I tell someone I'm not going to talk about them or their situation anymore, I wouldn't even make any responses to anybody in that situation.
This stream was hosted by one of Doodle's closest friends, Kagamine, with the sole purpose of uniting members of the Neo-CC and Alt-CC to collectively air out their issues with Doodle. She didn't take this obvious character assassination very well, and made her own video calling out her friends.
Sit down with the Alt-CC and converse with them. Love how later they state that I don't have to talk with the ones that come off as unreasonable people who hate me, which just leaves Kurome, Dylan, Skihound, and Just a Robot, who all I've talked to, minus Jar, in calls since the whole Alt-CC drama even started. If you wanted to converse with me about it, then you should have done so instead of telling me you wanted to not talk about it like you did on streams, minus Ski, who told me via a Skype call. So, obviously, you guys only give a fuck and want to talk to me when it's on your terms, or makes me seem like I'm just wanting some sort of comfortable padding safe space. You should acknowledge criticisms and defend yourself, especially from the Alt-CC. Why? So you guys have more reasons to jump down my throat? Note how no one was even able to say Alt-CC without having someone come up. Hell, Renegade Master, you should be aware of this more than anyone, given that you made a video regarding the Alt basically saying, they exist only to have Ski hark on your case. Want examples? Well, you either deleted or privated the video, so unfortunately I cannot. Oh, and Dylan, let us not forget your little jump to your defense when I stated that I was feeling like some of my friends within the Alt seemed to be ready to backstab me at any point because I felt they were doing some shady shit. I hate to bring private stuff to the public, really I do, but if you're gonna sit there and act like whenever the Alt-CC is even brought up that nobody's gotta be in the wrong, then I'm afraid that I need all the evidence that I can bring up. For someone who wants to have fun, your line delivery doesn't reflect it. Guys, you can't have fun unless you're overreacting and throwing that much emotion into your voice. Never mind the increase in jokes attempts that are being worked on. Nope, it all depends on your line delivery. I can't believe I have to explain where the fun wasn't being had, especially given targets from the Go Rantimate community and Kablam ever since I stopped my hiatus. I wasn't having fun in script writing. I wasn't having fun with sitting through their videos. I wasn't having fun putting them together. I thought that would be obvious. Given that the one video on a serious discussion, being film theory, I clearly state that I wasn't having fun with it. And you can tell given how much was put into it. Given how angry a lot of what I said came off as. I do not wish to be that bitter anymore. That's what got me into far too much shit than I already wanted to be in last year. Master TP, Just a Robot, Mr. Menaker, the YouTube dude, Mr. Enter.
I wonder if she watches any of the videos people make about her and is like, oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world, somebody made a video about me, oh my god, my life is over. She reminds me of Leafy in the sense that she constantly criticizes others and points out their shortcomings, but only does it to mask her own insecurities. The streaming question wasn't attacking her at all. It wasn't like they were saying Doodle is the worst so that tranny slut should kill herself. They were expressing their criticisms in a calm and rational manner. But these scathing criticisms were enough to cause Doodle to flip out harder than Wreck-It Ralph when the Nicelanders moved his stump. What kind of friend throws their other friends under the bus for mere criticism? If that isn't the definition of being thin-skinned, I don't know what is. This isn't something a friend would do, it's something a slimy asshole would do. Susie, when you flip out on people, especially your friends over criticism, over a stream that wasn't particularly mean or attacking you in any way, you're showing everybody that you're incredibly insecure and self-conscious. You go around criticizing other people, both big and small in the YouTube community, and you have no qualms about doing it. But when someone does the same thing to you, it's World War III. These weird double standards are one of Doodle's many big problems. Then again, these double standards make a lot of sense when you realize she builds a safe space around herself. And don't even try to deny it, Susie, we all know you do. Doodle may be a good content creator, but she honestly seems like a terrible friend. You constantly have to walk on eggshells and be mindful of everything you say. And if you dare to criticize her, you will be eaten alive, digested, and then promptly spit back out to get pecked to death by a pack of inflated diaper babies and Sonic the Hedgehogs. Over the course of watching Ryan Rhinomill's commentary on Nightmare Kagamine, you were probably wondering, hey, this intro doesn't need to be 8 minutes long, what gives? The CC has a really bad tendency of having these cringy and unfunny skits that play for like 3 to 4 minutes long and are irrelevant to the video in question. The intro for this commentary was a staggering 8 minutes long, and in my opinion, it was one of the most unentertaining things I've ever seen in my YouTube career. I'm gonna play a short snippet from this video and you can decide for yourselves whether or not it's entertaining.
No one can resist the cat cards.
I'm so lost right now.
Oh, yes. Of course. Anyway, we've been observing you for a while, as well as taking notes on your...
Wait. You've been observing me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's kinda creepy.
Well, I guess so, but...
What are you into men? Are you a dudophile? Do you go to gay dude bars for gay dudes to do gay dude things like buy shoes and play Scrabble?
I wasn't aware playing Scrabble was gay. I might have some self-reflecting to do when I get home. Anyway, if I could finish my thought, long story short, as the head of the Mexican Mafia, we have decided you have stopped entertaining us. Therefore, we're going to have to kill you.
Wait, kill me? Why?
I just told you why.
No, I heard that part, but why are you gonna kill me? That seems kind of extreme, don't you think?
Because right now you're being an annoying twit.
Oh, that's fair, I guess.
Okay, now, if you just stand still a second, this will be over quick. And it will only hurt a lot. I cracked myself up. It'll only hurt a lot.
Uh-oh, Ryan sure is in a hot situation this time. How will he get out of this pickle? Vote on your smartphones now.
Most of the people who watched it came to the same conclusion. It was pure shit. It wasn't funny, it wasn't entertaining, it was far too long, and it wasn't even relevant to the actual video. He kept going on about space and the Mexican Mafia, and a bunch of other stuff you likely didn't give two flying fucks about. What makes this even worse is the fact that the commentary was already long enough without the pointless intro skit dragging it down. Some may think I just don't like intro skits, but that's far from the truth. I'm fine with them provided they're short and are actually relevant to the video. But it's about context. Morgan's intro didn't provide enough of it to make people who weren't aware of the drama she was involved in understand what was going on.
Oh, it's you. Yeah, it's you. Person who doesn't get named until 40 seconds later, and even then it has its own brand of issues that I'll get to in a second. Yeah, I know it's our old pal Death Critic that you might remember from an old commentary I did, but not every person's just gonna know Death Critic right off the bat if you don't even mention him by name for the first 40 or 50 seconds of the video. Oh, and before someone says anything, yes, I do understand that it's not required to give an in-depth roll call, but the intro actually has a specific reason for specifically Death to be there, which will also go into my next problem with the video I'll point out in a second.
This all made me goddamn upset that I should think about committing suicide.
Oh boy, Kagamine is trying suicide humor. I mean, the joke wasn't that bad, but Kagamine's type of dialect and the manner of speaking just makes the entire joke just seem awkward, and I really hope she doesn't try to continue this trend. Death, your fingers are not helping.
Ryan, please explain to me in all your infinite wisdom what context your intro provides in relation to your video.
Ah, screw it. Time for plan B.
Get in the ship, you kike! I said get in, you cuck dunce!
Okay, jeez. And the black dude, and the Mexicans, and Donald Trump, and the sauces! What about the sauces, Ty? Okay, I'm good.
Actually, I know this is also a cliche, but, who's our pilot?
I forgot to hire one.
Anyone want peanuts?
I didn't think this through.
We're going down!
You and Morgan have one thing in common. Your intros don't provide any sort of context to make people understand what the hell is going on. Not to mention, they're not even relevant to the rest of the video. So why did Morgan get criticized? Well, Morgan is a much smaller fish within the CC, which made her an easier target for criticism. Ryan, on the other hand, is one of the biggest names in the analytical side of the CC, and because of that, he holds a lot of weight within the community. You won't see too many people call him out. The CC is hierarchical like that. A big name does something stupid, morally questionable, or hypocritical, everyone stays silent. Some will even go to great lengths to defend that said person. But when anyone else does it, it's the end of the world. Seriously, if we're going to criticize a commentator for the flaws I previously mentioned, then we should criticize all of them. This blatant favoritism towards certain channels only contributes to the CC's reputation as a giant circle jerk that only benefits those that are already popular. But hey, at least Ryan isn't getting triggered over someone saying black people aren't oppressed, right? Right?
Oh! Oh!
Did you win already?
Yeah, but not in the way I wanted to!
What'd he say?
Daily reminder, black people are not oppressed.
Oh!
Oh!
Okay. Oh. Oh.
Maybe Super Funny Bros was a mistake.
What?
Maybe.
Oh.
Just maybe.
Oh.
I think Super Funny Bros is the real hero.
Somebody...
Alright, black people are not fucking what?
Just black people are not oppressed. Yep, okay. Guess like most of those freaking cop incidents just never happen. I guess you could technically say that racism is against the law, something.
But
something.
oppression still exists.
Especially since there still have been a lot of cases of cops shooting black people and not being reprimanded for doing so. That's still a thing that has happened in real life, and I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. This is a we gave this person a seat at the big boy table back in the day. What?
On September 19th, 2017, Super Funny Bros, who now goes by the name of Smartass Bird, posted this tweet. Daily reminder, black people are not oppressed. This triggered Ryan so much that he attacked Super Funny Bros on Twitter. To be fair, Super Funny Bros is a pretty big piece of shit in his own right, but just because he stole money from a GoFundMe campaign that was meant to help Youngblood Fantasy 91's boyfriend move out of his abusive household, doesn't mean he should be attacked for having a differing opinion. Attacking somebody for having a differing opinion is pathetic. Acting like a triggered SJW is even more pathetic, but the thing I hate the most about all of this are these little special snowflakes like Ryan who feel the need to get offended on behalf of an entire race, thinking we can't speak for ourselves. Here's the thing, black people, at least in North America, are not oppressed. Segregation went the way of the dodo bird, we get the same job opportunities as everybody else, discrimination is very minimal, and plenty of black people lead very successful lives and have formed social movements that gain worldwide attention for better or worse. To believe black people are oppressed because of a single stupid tweet is the very definition of first world problems. Then again, when you're one of the big cheese in the CC and everyone sucks up to you and agrees with everything you say, it can be a little jarring when someone disagrees with you. How dare you disagree with me? How dare you have a differing opinion? You must be silenced. Ryan, while you may be a good content creator, your ego is so massive that it surpasses the Eiffel Tower in size. You're like everybody else on this godforsaken website. You're just a guy who makes videos on the internet. You're not that important. So please, for the love of God, stop acting like a triggered SJW over differing opinions, stop attacking people for those said opinions, and stop using an entire race as a shield to virtue signal how tolerant and progressive you are. I didn't want to have to do this, but given the circumstances, the use of this four-letter word is justified.
You need
need to shut the fuck up!
I wasn't kidding when I said Mr. Menaker was a thorn in the CC's side. As I previously mentioned in the third talking point, he mentioned the possibility of a video series on the CC, similar to the one he did on Channel Awesome. The CC reacted the same way Vancouver Canucks fans did during the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals. One of these supremely triggered individuals was Aklarov2160, a commentator from the UK who just so happens to be a part of the commentary group Bunch of Pseudo-Intellectuals. He posted 3 tweets letting everybody know how he feels about Menaker. He trolled the CC back in 2011/2012. Oh, you mean where nobody but Joshua took him seriously and the CC got a meme out of it? K. Do not feel guilty about blocking him or anyone who militantly associates with him. They don't want a discussion, they want to fight. Public service announcement, Jim just wants attention. He is not your boss. He's a sociopath who wants to scare people. If you criticize someone, you're sexist and misogynistic. If you criticize someone, you're a Nazi and a white supremacist. And finally, if you criticize someone, you're a sociopath. This is such an SJW thing to do, and yes, Aklarov is a full-blown SJW. Not only is he calling Jim a sociopath for criticizing the CC, but he's also advocating for fellow commentators to block not only him, but anyone who likes his content or associates with him to be blocked. Somehow, Steve Shives has invaded this side of the CC, ladies and gentlemen. In all seriousness, do you even know what the word sociopath means? Sociopath, a person with a psychopathic personality whose behavior is antisocial, often criminal, and who lacks a sense of moral responsibility or social conscience. Someone criticizing an individual or a group of people does not make them a sociopath. I thought the CC was a community of 3 thinkers that were tolerant of other people's opinions, but that's all complete bullshit. It's a safe space that will tolerate your opinions as long as it aligns with the hive mind. The minute you deviate from it, you become expendable and open to attack. This is especially disgusting when you consider these same people will turn around and criticize other people for doing the same shit. I never thought I would defend Kablam on anything, but I'm going to in this instance. He got so much shit for not being able to take criticism while ironically criticizing other people, but when certain people in the CC do this exact same thing, it's totally fine. It's all Jim's fault. He's the reason why the CC has a bad reputation. He's the reason no one wants to associate with it anymore. Never mind the fact we have people who tells a person to kill themselves, gets triggered over someone saying black people are not oppressed, and calls a person with legitimate criticisms a sociopath. It's his problem. This is classic DSP syndrome. Do something incredibly shitty or stupid or a combination of both, blame everybody that isn't you for your problems, and then wonder why your reputation is in the toilet. But Aklarov isn't the only person in the CC that exhibits a hive mind mentality. Mr. Enter talks about Teen Titans Go too much is a criticism I've seen leveled at him for a while. One of the main figureheads driving the point home is of course Megadupe. There's just one problem with that, it's not true. I took a few minutes to look through his channel to see if my suspicions were correct. Out of the 145 episodes of animated atrocities, there are only 4 episodes dedicated to Teen Titans Go, and out of the 54 episodes of admirable animation, there's only 1 episode dedicated to Teen Titans Go. So if anything, he doesn't talk about the show enough. Not only is that misleading and deceptive, but it also shows a complete lack of research on your part. Seriously, it only takes a few seconds of research and you will find this. People automatically believed what Megadupe was saying without looking into it or questioning it, because the CC has a hate boner for Enter. Another example of this is the comparison he makes in the first episode of the Reviewer Review.
I find it absolutely hilarious that cartoon reviewers make these dumbass, asinine comparisons between 2 very different pieces of media, not realizing that the comparison needs to make sense for fuck's sake. And speaking of Teen Titans Go, he displays another common issue with the cartoon reviewing community here on YouTube. And that is the simple fact that this guy obsesses constantly over Teen Titans Go. But honestly, this guy is one of the worst I've seen when it comes to this issue. Let me put it to you like this. Mr. Enter has made many videos on Teen Titans Go with various months spread out between each video. Phantom Strider has made various lists just to find an excuse to shit on Teen Titans Go in some way, shape, or form. Now, while the way Enter and Strider does it is annoying, they do not compare to this guy. Baseball Sam has made, I shit you not, 11 fucking reviews on Teen Titans Go. Just why? What is the point? Seriously, what is the fucking point?
These comparisons don't work at all, and I'm going to explain why. Mr. Enter hasn't made a video on Teen Titans Go in over a year, and no, I don't count the Cartoon Network in 2017 video. And Phantom Strider hasn't made a video on the show since February of this year. If they were still making videos about Teen Titans Go on a semi-regular basis, then this comparison would make more sense, but that's just not the case. The comparison is only here as a contrived way of mentioning Enter and Strider. Now, I'm not saying he has a shrine to them in his closet like Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold. I'm not saying that at all, but it strikes me as a little odd, and a tad bit obsessive. Just a tad. And by the way, if you're gonna make a commentary on game theory, you should probably find a more recent video to commentate on, and not one from 2014. Just some food for thought. You want to know why I've distanced myself from the CC? It's because it has a big pettiness problem. Allow me to explain. Many of you know the whole drama between the Neo CC and the Alt CC, but for those of you who are out of the loop, I'll quickly get you up to speed. It all started when Darkseid uploaded a trailer titled The Commentary Community Has Failed You, which received an overwhelmingly negative response, with many writing him off as an edgelord. They also wrote off the video as another generic CC rant that wouldn't be any good. Hell, even I thought it was going to be a complete dumpster fire. When the video actually released, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great or anything, but it wasn't a complete disaster that many thought it would be. This whole ordeal was the catalyst of the drama between the Neo and the Alt. In fact, the situation got so heated that Ryan Rhino Mills had to tell the Neo to calm down. I personally feel that Darkseid brought some of the backlash upon himself. If you're going to post a trailer with a title like that, you should have put the word trailer in parentheses so people would have understood it was a trailer. Instead, you decided to go with that title without the word trailer in it, and you were wondering why the backlash against you was so severe. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. On the flip side, the way the Neo reacted was overblown and ridiculous. They dismissed Darkseid before he had the chance to say anything. While I understand there have been plenty of generic CC rants over the years, jumping to conclusions over a video that hadn't released yet because you thought it would be bad is downright silly. What this drama essentially boils down to is two highly opinionated and, quite frankly, egotistical groups of people not liking each other's style of commentary, so they split off to form their own communities. This is all under the guise of improving the CC and making it better. It hasn't gotten better. If anything, it's gotten worse. The fact this drama continues to persist further cements the CC's reputation for pettiness. Seriously, the more I think about it, the more I realize just how stupid and pointless it actually is. The fact that people legitimately believe that Doodle Tones had some kind of a diaper fetish is so monumentally stupid that it's almost not even worth talking about. But this is the guide to surviving the internet, and we cover internet history, so we have to talk about it. Needless to say, everybody ran with it, and it earned her the embarrassing nickname Doodle Diapers. And no, I don't know who came up with that. It was either Jesus with Bazooka 79 Lives or some other stupid troll, I don't know.
It's pretty obvious that Mr. Menaker came up with the name, and he did have a reason for it.
Mental illness? What? What could possibly have made your grandmother think you have a mental illness? Oh, maybe it's, is it that? ABDL, Adult Baby Diaper Lover Role-Playing Group? Doodle Tones, or should I call you by your proper name, Doodle Diapers? Doodle Diapers, do you get off on shitting yourself?
I'll admit that I made a mistake regarding the Doodle Diapers nickname. I wasn't following the Menaker Doodle drama at the time and was just going on what I heard. It was obviously wrong and I own up to my mistake. My only complaint is the use of the clip, because it makes me look like I'm white knighting for Doodle, which couldn't be farther from the truth. In all things fairness, let's play devil's advocate, because Doodle Tones didn't handle the situation any better herself. After the mass amounts of death threats she received, not only did she disable the comments on her video about Menaker, but she also started blocking people en masse. Understandably, this didn't stop the trolls from coming, it only attracted more. and then she tried to make a video defending herself and justifying why it was okay, which only made her look worse, because let's be honest, disabling comments and blocking people does not make you look good, no matter what the reason is. To kind of sum everything up, both sides were in the wrong, and neither of them came out looking particularly good. Some of Mr. Menaker's fans sunk to the absolutely deplorable levels of wishing death upon Doodle Tone simply because they didn't agree with her opinions. And to be honest, they came out looking just as triggered and oversensitive as the people Menaker constantly highlights in his videos. Well, Doodle Tones came out looking particularly bad due to the fact that she was disabling comments and blocking people and trying to justify it, and making the video in which she was overreacting to what Mr. Menaker said and blowing the whole thing out of proportion, which is what spiraled the drama in the first place. Surely you watched the entirety of part 3 and didn't just take a specific thing I said to prove how bad the Neo-CC is. This comes off as a blatant attempt to push an agenda and to suit a particular narrative. Hey everybody, look how bad the Neo-CC is. It's full of white knights and this clip proves it. What a bunch of cucks, am I right? Both sides are willing to use people unrelated to the drama and want nothing to do with it as examples to prove how bad the other side is, and as you'd probably expect, the Neo is guilty of doing the same thing. Case in point.
Addresses some of her concerns with the alt-CC, some of the problems she has, being a moderate. She gets kicked right the fuck out of their group. And yeah, sure, you can accuse her of lying about shit, but she was addressing some things from her point of view in a conversation. It's like, fuck, can't people hold some issues with you guys, or is it because you're not sucking dick, then you're just some spurky Neo-CC scumfuck?
You know what's funny? Bob, which Doodle just so happens to be a part of, made an hour-long group commentary lambasting Chambers, but when push came to shove and she needed something to prove how bad the alt is, she resorted to this. Now, I can't speak on the conflict between Chambers and the alt because whatever squabbles they had are between them, but this is just slimy. Doodle didn't do this because she actually believes in differing opinions and viewpoints. She did it in an attempt to discredit a group of people she didn't like. Honestly, she should be the last person ranting about this, given her history. She acts as if the alt has this us versus them mentality, when the Neo is just as bad in that regard, and surely you have to realize how hypocritical this makes you look, right? This is what the Neo-alt drama is. Two groups of slimy and manipulative people that are more than willing to throw people under the bus if it means continuing their petty little squabbles. The fact that this even needed to go public is indicative of the CC's larger problems. They're a group of adults that can't solve their own issues, act like adults, and have adult conversations. And I firmly believe that the Neo-alt drama is one of the many things that has damaged the CC's reputation. Honestly, I could go on about this for the next 1,000 years until I'm a skeleton, but this video is already long enough, so I'm just going to skip straight to my final thoughts. To put it bluntly, the CC is dying, and I fear if nothing is done to evolve it and address all of the problems within it, then what's left of it will slowly go away. Despite everything I've said in this video, I don't hate the CC or anyone in it. I may not agree with the things they're doing, but I don't think they're bad people. Please do not use this video as an excuse to go on a witch hunt and attack the people I've talked about in this video. It's counterintuitive to the overall message, and it's just flat out wrong. The CC is not beyond saving. There are a ton of great content creators in this community that produce fantastic content. Please do not let your opinion of the entire community be swayed because a few people are cancerous. The CC has problems, but they can be fixed, and the community can thrive and be great once again. By the way, if you're thinking about doing this, take it from me and just don't.
Do you know what group I joined? I joined the group of Mega Dupe TV, the ultimate ranter. I am the best, nothing can stop me. In fact, I challenge every commentary community member right now. Next year at WrestleMania, all of you guys, in the main event, I will walk in there as a challenger and come out of there as a champion. Nothing can stop me. I am the best. I am different from everybody else, and I am the ultimate fucking ranter.
In fact, I challenge every commentary community member right now. Next year at WrestleMania, all of you guys, in the main event, I will walk in there as a challenger and come out of there as a champion. Nothing can stop me. I am the best. I am different from everybody else, and I am the ultimate fucking writer.